I don't know why. I'm trying to reach out and let anyone know of the severe traumas that my son has endured. Because in the past, no one has ever cared to do anything about it. But it's like just the fact that the feeling of God wants me to try again, for Brad's sake, to get justice. That I must. Over 17 years ago is when our lives changed forever. My son had just turned 8 years old. And he was on a Laidlaw school bus. Brought home unconscious, lifeless, on September 23rd, 1996, Monday. He was a tiny little kid. And the two big guys that were driving him wouldn't tell me what happened. I carried him off of that school bus into my yard, and I laid him down on the ground, and I begged God to let my baby live. He was transported by ambulance to Children's Hospital, and after 2 ampules of ammonia, finally regained consciousness and told the doctors, "Bus driver choked me with seatbelt harness." And it is written in the records. We were sent home. No one did a thing. No one cared. I was so thankful that my child was alive. But he was hurting over this. And I tried for years and years to get something done. No one would ever do anything. It was covered up by school, by everyone. There were witnesses as to what happened. Not particularly everything, but there was enough witnesses to put the facts together. And it's just that no one could believe that people in a caretaking responsibility like this would hurt a child so severely. My son told me he was calling out to God to please help him as he was losing consciousness and couldn't breathe. I don't know where you were, God, but there has to be so much horrible evil in this world that it's that strong that you can't stop everything, I guess. But my son has a lot of faith, as well as I do. And I don't know, but to this day, neither of us can even see a school bus without having a crime scene put in our face. It's a horrible trauma to live through. And the worst part of it is that that's not the only thing my son has endured. A couple years later, it was around February of '99 that my son was in the Canaletian Center for Learning, and his teacher for some reason took my son into a room and he slammed him backwards into a wall and actually broke the wall with my son's back and head. I called the police. Grader told me about this. I arrived shortly after it happened. I told the teacher, tell the supervisor. Now, I called the police. The detectives actually did do something. They prosecuted. It's a nightmare for a father. To have my son tell me. He said Arthur hurt me. No, his teacher just hurt him. Not know what to do. I wish I would have taken matters into my own hands at that point, because never could I imagine how much my son would have to live through. But the physical pain, I just thought of after he had been home, and the hospital wouldn't do anything from him being choked unconscious by the bus driver and aide. I called the police and demanded they had a detective come over to photograph that I saw there was a bruise on his body from the harness and where they were pulling on him. And I didn't care. They wouldn't. These detectives did care. My son suffered severely. He had back and neck pains lasting still through this day. And they prosecuted that teacher. My son went before the judge to testify. And before myself or the detective could be brought into the court to testify, the Catholic Church bought their way out of this, and all I can say is it's evil. The reasons are very evil. That they dropped it. And to have a child hurt by an adult that's supposed to be taking care of them and go to tell people and have them drop it is all that much more suffering on top of what has already been endured. This is almost too much to deal with in life. I tried to help my son through things the best I could, with having no support myself to help him through life. It's just hard to imagine that this has gone on, but it has. And I think this is one of the main reasons no one would do anything ever, is because people can't believe that these things happen, but they do happen. They did happen. And that is not all. On August 4th of 2000, my son was in folk school, and his teacher hurt him. After I came to pick him up from school, when he came out, into the hallway. He told me Costello hurt me. And it was just like too much to know something had happened again. I saw the aide in the hallway look at me. I didn't understand then how badly hurt he was. When we got home, my son peed blood, and I took him to the emergency room at Children's. It turns out it was cystoscopy that he has, and he had a bruised bladder. Teacher had slammed my son face down on the ceramic floor with his full body weight on top of my child. And hurt his physical areas as well as internal. No one has ever done anything to help get justice for what these bastards have done to my child. These are adult men that were in caretaking responsibilities for an innocent child. And there has been no justice. And these things have happened. It's been a reality. It's been a nightmare for my child as well as myself. Most feelings for me is that I hate this world for the cruelty that it is. But I do have faith that God and Jesus do exist and care. I know there's severe evil. I know it's powerful and extreme. But the good is powerful as well. Somehow I just had an overwhelming feeling that is what he wanted from me. To make this. To at least tell others somehow, because I've tried to tell others. I've tried to tell them the crimes that were committed against my son. So if I've never found anyone that will truly do anything about it, and the healing would come from justice, to see them punished for what they've done to him. He's a wonderful child. But when crimes are committed against you, it can live with you forever. Forever. Every single day. I go to sleep thinking of these things, and I wake thinking of these things. I think of them all through the day. Reminders are put in front of our faces like school buses. That's like having the image of Auschwitz put in front of the innocents that suffered those horrible crimes. It's a nightmare that can't be escaped, because it is, and it exists. I know how bad it is for me, and I know it's much far worse for my son, who is the one who actually lived through these things.